So you want to build your dream body. Well, if you do, firstly, you've come to the right place, and second, you're making a great fucking decision. By building your dream body and just looking good, you're automatically putting yourself ahead of 95% of guys if you're like aged 14 to 22. Because guess what? Most guys in that age bracket, they're going to look like one of these two. Got the Genshin player or the dude that's 109 pounds. Along with having a morally superior physique that makes you better than everyone in every single way possible, you will literally also just be more attractive, be more fit, and have more confidence. And even if it weren't for those great benefits by themselves, being fit in and of itself just makes you healthier. Alright, enough rambling. How do you actually change the way your body looks? Well, if you want to do that, there's going to be two things that you're going to have to tweak. Number one is the amount of lean muscle mass on your frame, meaning literally just the amount of muscle you have. And second is the amount of body fat you have. Now, generally speaking, the less body fat you have, the more your muscles are going to pop or be like defined. And the more fat you have, the less they'll pop, the worse you'll look, the more your love handles are going to swing out to the side, and the bigger of a belly you're going to have. So how do you actually reduce your body fat and increase the amount of muscle you have? Well, it's all in your diet and your training. Let me explain. Every single person has a set level called their maintenance level. This is basically the amount of energy or calories they're going to need to intake on a daily basis to maintain that weight. And if you go above or below that level, you'll either gain or lose weight accordingly. So when you're in like a moderate surplus, say of 200-300 calories above your maintenance, and you're strength training, you're gonna pack on some muscle. If you're kind of pasty, you're kind of fat, little chubby, you go in a deficit and you're strength training, you'll either build a little bit of muscle or maintain your current muscle and shed the fat. And yes, you can build muscle in a deficit. Now, I will have to explain that this can really only happen in like newer lifters, meaning people who just are training for under a year, and people who are kind of high in body fat. And for men, this is like over 24%, because you need a lot of excess energy on your body to actually let the protein that you intake be used for muscle synthesis. So yeah, you can build muscle in a deficit. It's probably not going to be optimal muscle, but still any and all muscle you gain in a deficit is a huge win. And in order to figure out your maintenance level, you can use this calculator I linked down in the description. Basically, you plug your metrics in, like your weight, your height, your age, if you know your body fat percentage, and it'll give you a rough ballpark estimate of what your maintenance calories are. Now, it's not going to be 100% accurate, and that's to be expected, but it gives you a really good range that you can try out and adjust accordingly. Alright, so in a diet, calories aren't the only thing we have to worry about. We also have to worry about how much actual protein we're intaking, because we know, if you've taken a basic biology class, that protein is the building block for your whole body, and especially for muscle. So since we're strength training to try and build muscle or maintain it, if you're in a cut, you're going to need to eat protein. And how much exactly? For beginners, a very, very safe, good range is around 0.8 grams per pound of body weight to like 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. Now that we know the basics of dieting, how do we actually decide whether we should like cut down or bulk up? Well, if you look like this, your game plan should be to pack on as much muscle mass as possible, aka eat in a surplus and fucking train. If you look like this, the game plan for you is to shred that chub and build some decent muscle mass underneath it. So when you cut that down, you don't look like the first guy. Now, if you look like this, firstly, I kind of feel bad for you. Second, there's two things that you can realistically choose from. Firstly, you can do a bulk and then slowly cut down, or you can do a body recomposition. Jeff Nipper did a really good video on body recomposition. If you want to check it out, I'm going to link it down in the description. It's really informative, really good, and it works. The reason I don't suggest doing a cut at first when you look like this is simply just because you don't have enough muscle underneath your frame to justify a cut. And unlike the super fat guy, you don't even have enough body fat to use his excess energy to build that muscle underneath. So you're not going to be able to build any, if much at all, muscle in a deficit. Now, obviously, your diet isn't the only factor at play here. You still need to get up and train with some damn weight. And when I say train, I mean train, like train hard. We're not doing cardio here. We're not talking about cycling or jogging. You need to pick up some weights and you need to lift heavy. A good place for beginners to start is about 3 times a week. I wouldn't go more than 6 times a week, just because if you're natural, that means you're not taking steroids, your body's not going to be able to recover fast enough to actually support you going 7 times a week, and all you're going to end up is accruing a lot of fatigue without making a ton of progress. You need to strive to hit all of your muscle groups at least twice a week. Prioritize big compound movements like the bench press, the squat, or the deadlift. Basically, just get in the gym and just don't train like a bitch. Also, very important to note, when you're first starting out, please focus on the form. Look up how to do it. There are tons of videos. Bodybuilding.com is your best friend. You want to learn how to actually perform these exercises correctly so you don't injure yourself and then put yourself out of the gym for a week, or worst case, like we're talking really bad here, like a month or maybe multiple months. Now, aside from just basic injury prevention, you also need to ensure that your body is getting the proper rest it needs. And I don't just mean between sets, like 2 minutes. I mean actually when you get home and go to bed. If you're not sleeping anywhere from 7 to 9 hours, you're probably lacking in gym performance. You're probably leaving gains on the table. You're putting out suboptimal performance because your body simply isn't well rested and it hasn't recovered enough. So to recap, you need to lift weights, you need to eat properly, and you need to get adequate rest. It sounds pretty simple, right? Well, I mean, in theory, it absolutely fucking is, but you're always going to have those days where everything just feels grindy, especially getting out of bed. But trust me, I can personally vouch for this because exercising, just lifting weights and becoming fit has been the best thing to ever happen to me in my life. The confidence, the attractiveness, the overall self-esteem that I've gotten from just building a better body and feeling better about myself is immense. If you're a complete beginner and you don't know where to start with training, like at all, I linked a website in the description called Lift Vault, where you can find a program that suits you, what you want to do, how many days you want to go, etc. And remember, when you're just starting out, take your time. Focus on the form, learn the movements, and just realize it's going to take a while to see progress. Within the first 2 months, trust me, if you are consistent and you keep to it, you're going to see great results. You just have to be patient. Anyway, really thank you for watching, and if you've watched this far, you're probably interested in self-improvement. If you like what you hear, you want to see more, consider subscribing. Anyway, till next time.